Namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome to the sacred journey of Call Mantra, Embrace Divine Grace. Let the celestial vibrations uplift your spirit and guide you toward inner peace, abundance, and divine blessings. Open your heart, chant with devotion, and awaken the infinite grace within you.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We sift through complex topics to get you the core insights fast. Today, we're diving into something pretty fundamental. Prayer versus meditation. What's the real difference? And we're looking at this through a very specific, maybe even challenging lens.
That's right. We're drawing from excerpts of an Osho video titled Osho, Prayer or Meditations, from the Osho International YouTube channel. Now, Osho, for anyone unfamiliar, was this Indian mystic, a spiritual teacher known for, let's say, not shying away from controversy, especially around religion. So our mission here is to really unpack his views on prayer and meditation, why he criticizes one so heavily, and, well, champions the other. It might shake up some common ideas.
Absolutely. This isn't just definitions. It's about motivation, connection, how we try to reach out to the divine, or maybe how we reach in. So let's get into it. How does Osho start framing these two concepts?
Okay, so Osho kicks things off by defining prayer. He calls it a byproduct of theism, meaning it basically springs from believing in a God and then feeling you need some kind of relationship with that God. Exactly. And right away, he characterizes that relationship in a pretty stark way. He says it's not a pure love affair. He calls it business, straight up. Because the core motivation, he argues, is that you're almost always asking something. It's not unconditional.
Right, there's a transaction involved somehow. And he points out how conditional this business really is. You know, people pray when you are in trouble.
When things get tough. But then Osho says when you are out of trouble, you forget it. You forget God, you forget the prayer.
So it's like a switch you flip only when you need something. That paints prayer as very need-based, doesn't it?
Completely. A temporary contract almost. Yeah. Trouble hits, you make a plea. Trouble passes, the deal's off. Back to normal until the next crisis. That cycle is really central to his whole critique.
That's a strong take. And he uses a story to really drive this point home, doesn't he? A Sufi story.
He does, yeah. It's quite famous. So imagine a ship at sea, heading home. Suddenly, a massive storm hits. Violent waves, howling winds. The ship is almost on the verge of sinking.
Terrifying stuff. And what happens? Everyone panics.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Fear takes over. And Osho describes how everyone starts praying. Desperately. Even the atheists, the agnostics, they're all down on their knees begging, forgive me, just let me reach the shore, offering apologies for ever doubting.
Okay, so total chaos, everyone bargaining with God, but there's someone who isn't joining in.
Right. Amidst all this, there's one person, a Sufi you can tell by his green robe, just sitting there, quietly, calmly, not praying.
And the other passengers must have noticed that. How did they react?
They were furious. They confront him. They're openly admitting, our prayers are nothing but business. We're promising God things if he saves us. And they demand to know why he, a religious man, isn't doing the same. You should have been the first to pray.
Okay, so what does the Sufi say? This feels like the key moment.
It really is. His answer cuts right to the heart of Osho's point. He just says, you have already said it because I am not a businessman. His whole attitude is just total acceptance. He says, if he wants to finish us all, good. If he wants to save us, good. I am in total agreement with him. Why should I pray?
Wow. So for him, prayer actually implies disagreement, like you're trying to change God's mind.
Exactly. The Sufi says, prayer means some disagreement. It means something is happening which you don't want to happen, and you're asking God to interfere, to stop it, to change it. He basically argues, look, life and death are God's business. I didn't ask to be born. Why should I try to control how I die? It's his decision.
That is a radical level of surrender. I mean, that's hard for most people to grasp, especially facing death. It totally flips the common idea of prayer. The others must have thought he was completely nuts.
Oh, definitely. They thought he was mad, a dangerous man, not a real Sufi. But, they were a bit busy trying not to drown, so they kind of shelved the argument for later.
Okay, so the story doesn't end there, right? There's another character involved.
Yes, and this character perfectly fits Osho's prayer as business model. On the ship is this incredibly wealthy, famous guy. He owns this magnificent marble palace. So beautiful, apparently even the king wanted it. But, rich or poor, the storm doesn't care.
Right. So does he start praying too?
He holds out for a bit, but when the ship is really almost sinking, absolute desperate, he yells out, listen, God, I give that palace to you, just save me.
The ultimate bargaining chip. And does it work?
Well, miraculously, yes. Or maybe it was luck, who knows. But the storm calms down, the sea settles, the ship is saved, everyone reaches the shore.
Okay, so the rich man is safe, but now he's got a problem. He promised away his prized palace.
Exactly. He probably wished he'd just kept quiet like the Sufi. But the story says he thinks, but I am a businessman and I will find a way. And oh boy, does he find a way.
Uh-oh. This sounds like it's going to be clever. What does he do?
It's audacious, really. The very next day, he announces an auction for the palace. Kings, queens, rich folks, they all show up. But there's a catch. Everyone's confused because right in front of this amazing palace, chained to a pillar, is a cat.
A cat. Okay, where is this going?
The rich man steps up and announces the terms. This palace and the cat both are up for auction together. And then the price. The price of the cat is 1 million dinars, which was a fortune back then. And the price of the palace, $1 total. $1 million and $1.
1 million for the cat, $1 for the palace. That's brilliant and incredibly sneaky.
Totally. The crowd is bewildered, but he just says, take it or leave it, both together, minimum price. The king, despite being puzzled, actually buys it. Later, the king asks him, what was that all about?
And the rich man's explanation.
Classic businessman logic, according to Osho. He says, no secret. I just got into trouble because of a prayer. I told God I will give you the palace. And I am a businessman. If he is a businessman, I am also a businessman. Yeah. So he keeps the 1 million dinars from the cat for himself, and the $1 from the palace, that goes into God's fund. He technically fulfilled his promise.
Wow. That story just perfectly encapsulates Osho's point, doesn't it? Prayer as this strategic negotiation trying to bend divine will to fit our needs. It really challenges how we usually think about it. So boiling it down, Osho's main beef with prayer is that it's just your effort to persuade God to do things according to you. It sounds like he sees it as fundamentally trying to manipulate things.
Precisely that. It ties right back to that business idea. He even calls prayer absolutely your imagination, because his point is you don't know God. You don't know God's preferences, God's plans, or even he pushes whether he exists or not. Yet we engage in this very specific transactional talk. He sees it as a kind of global delusion, a poor state of affairs.
It's a really strong critique, calling it bribing God, basically business. Many people see prayer as deeply sacred, an act of love or devotion. How does Osho reconcile his view with that deeply felt experience many people have?
Well, he'd likely argue that even if the feeling feels like love, the structure of asking for specific things reveals the underlying transactional nature. He suggests we use flattering language. You are great, compassionate, you can do anything, essentially, hoping that you can buttress his ego. But Osho insists this is all because you want something, there's a motive. If it were pure unconditional love, why only pray when you're in trouble? That's his challenge.
Okay, so if prayer is out, in Osho's view, because it's this flawed transactional thing, what's the alternative? He must offer something else, right? Where does he point us instead?
Oh, absolutely. He's very clear. For him, the right dimension, the authentic path, is meditation. He presents them as the only real options. Prayer, the false dimension, and meditation, the right dimension, is quite black and white for him.
That's a stark choice. So how does he draw the line between them? What makes meditation so different in practice?
The direction is completely opposite. With prayer, Osho says, you imagine a God there outside yourself. Then you project a prayer, you're moving outward. You try to build this bridge of prayer between you and God. And it's always wordy. You're talking, chanting, using a mantra, some kind of verbal communication out.
Okay, so prayer moves outward, uses words, targets an external God. What about meditation?
Meditation is the reverse. You don't have to project any God. You don't have to believe in any God. And crucially, you don't have to utter a single word of prayer. Instead, you move inward. The whole focus shifts. You're exploring what's inside you, asking, who am I? What is this life energy? What is this consciousness in me? It's exploration, not petition.
So an inward journey of discovery. What does Osho say you find when you look inward like that?
He says something profound happens. If only I can know this consciousness, this life in me. I've known the universal life. I am part of it. He uses this great analogy. Just taste the ocean from anywhere, and it is salty. Taste yourself. It's the closest place. Meaning the essence of everything, the universal, is right there within your own awareness. Taste that, and you've tasted the whole.
That's a beautiful analogy, taste yourself. But how does one actually do that? Especially with, the constant mental chatter, how do you start that inward move?
He stresses it's about becoming aware, not forcing silence. He suggests you just start noticing. Notice the gaps between thoughts, maybe focus on your breath. The key is learning to remain wordless, even for brief moments. Not fighting the words, but just letting them fade, consciously choosing silence. Words have to be dropped, he says, even for small moments.
And those small moments of wordlessness, what's the experience like then? What does Osho say happens?
He describes it very poetically. He says, so much blessing descends that it's from those small gaps the whole universe starts pouring upon you. This is why he's so firm. I am for meditation and against prayer, because the meditator comes to know, feels reality throbbing within himself. You feel the heartbeat of existence directly, no intermediary needed.
Wow. So it's a direct experience of connection, not a request for one. And does that lead to a different kind of, well, maybe something like prayer, but transformed?
Yes, exactly. What arises isn't the asking, but what he calls a thankfulness that is without any motive. It's a gratitude to nobody in particular, simply a gratitude for all that is. Just this profound sense of thanks for existence itself.
Okay.
If you had to call it something prayer-like, Osho says it would be an authentic love affair, a simple, heartfelt thank you, not aimed at someone for a specific favor, but offered to the whole universe just for being.
Okay, so let's quickly recap what we've pulled from Osho via this deep dive. He presents prayer as this outward-focused, often motivated business deal driven by belief and need, aiming to influence an external God. The Sufi story really highlighted that bargaining aspect. Meditation, then, is the complete opposite. An inward, unmotivated journey. No belief required, just exploring your own consciousness, leading to this direct knowing and a kind of universal, unconditional gratitude.
Absolutely. And it really leaves you, the listener, with a question, doesn't it? When you engage in practices meant for connection or introspection, what's your underlying motivation? Is it a negotiation, trying to strike a deal with reality? Or is it more about exploration, just discovering what's already there inside you and all around you? It's a shift from asking to simply being and seeing.
Yeah, what really stands out to you after hearing this perspective? Maybe it's less about the words we use or even where we think we're going, and more about that quiet space we can find inside. Something to reflect on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Struggling with health, financial worries, wealth, relationships, or career? Don't let these challenges hold you back. Harness the ancient power of authentic Rudraksha, planetary remedies, and Vedic astrology to restore balance and attract success. But act fast. These sacred remedies are in limited stock. Visit callmantra.com today to transform your life.
If this resonated with you, join our spiritual journey. Your support keeps us growing. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So like, comment, share with friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.